Beast Beneath the Surface, the 1916 Jersey Shore Shark Attacks. Written by Stephen J. Pickering, read by Robert Bell Jones. This is a listen and live audio production.
Chapter 1. Prologue. The Heat Wave in the Shore. The summer of 1916 had come on like a furnace. June had been blistering, the kind of month that drove city dwellers out of their brick apartments in Philadelphia and New York, down toward the promise of breezes off the Atlantic. Newspapers reported record-breaking heat, horses collapsing in the streets, children fainting on tenement stoops. At night, families dragged mattresses onto rooftops, desperate for air. And so, they flocked eastward, to the sand, to the surf, to the small towns of New Jersey strung like beads along the coast. Trains brought them in thick, sweat-dampened crowds, men in stiff collars, women in ankle-length dresses, children shrieking with excitement. Hotel verandas overflowed with chatter and ice clinking in glasses. Beach umbrellas sprang up like bright mushrooms along the shoreline. The shore towns, Beach Haven, Spring Lake, Asbury Park, Matawan, swelled with life. The ocean was the great relief, cool, vast, and, so people thought, safe. To slip into its waters after days of choking city air was to feel reborn. The salt burned away the grime of coal smoke, the heat, the stress. Bathing suits of wool clung to bodies, and women waded in up to their knees, laughing nervously at the waves. Young men swam boldly out past the ropes, slicing through the water with broad strokes. But beneath the glittering surface, the sea held its own secrets. No one on the beach that summer knew how warm the waters had become, warmer than usual, drawing creatures closer to shore. No one noticed the flicker of shadows beneath the breakers, or the dark-finned silhouette that had begun to prowl the coast. For centuries, Americans had believed sharks were not a danger in northern waters. Attacks, if they occurred at all, were tales from distant oceans, the stuff of sailors' yarns. Scientists assured the public the great fish of the sea were harmless here. So people laughed when a fisherman here or there claimed he'd seen something strange offshore. They scoffed at rumors. A shark? In New Jersey? Absurd. The ocean was for swimming, not for fear. The newspapers carried larger concerns anyway. Europe was at war, and America debated whether to join. President Wilson urged neutrality. At home, polio crept through cities, a silent threat, but at the shore, the troubles of the world seemed far away. Children ran free in the sand. Young couples courted under boardwalk lights. Bands played ragtime in grand hotels. And in the shallows, families bathed, their laughter ringing across the waves. It was July 1st, 1916, a Saturday. Holiday crowds filled the sands at Beach Haven, unaware that within hours the spell of innocence would shatter. The water they trusted would soon run red, and the name shark, once exotic, almost laughable, would become a word of terror whispered up and down the coast.